Hey, y'all. This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and we are live from Jamaica. We are literally in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane, and I'm coming to you live because today we're going to talk about how amazing it is and what you can do to live powerfully through the storms of life. You like that play on words? I'm in the middle of a hurricane in Jamaica, and we're going to talk about surviving the storms of life. Now, storms can be internal too, right? Those feelings that we have, high anxiety. We talk about, the voices in our head that sometimes keep us off balance. So I'm in a beautiful suite in a 5-star resort in Jamaica in the middle of a hurricane. It actually hasn't hit here yet. There's some parts of Jamaica that are being battered. We're not one of them, thank God, quite yet. But what I can say is it excites me. It excites me to no end. And when I say it, I'm excited. I'm excited because it's in the storms of life that we get to practice all the skills that we talk about, these Jedi skills around living powerfully. This is it. You have to have shenanigans in order for you to be in a position to say, you know what, despite this, I'm going to smile. I'm going to believe, right? I'm going to exercise my faith muscles, right, in this moment. If everything was running smooth, you'll never get to know how do I respond when things aren't running smooth, right? That's really the test. So I'm not going to say I wish bad things because that is so not true. But when something happens that is less than optimal in my mind, that did not align to my expectations or hopes, right? We've had all of our flights canceled. I came here to Jamaica for an empowerment retreat with Debrina Jackson Gandy. She does something called Holistic Success. I'm an amazing coach, but coaches need coaches too. And we need communities of people who are doing great work. So we planned to be here for several days. We were at this beautiful mansion. It was incredible in Hanover, Jamaica. And I said, after this wonderful community event, I'm going to the Hyatt, right? I found a close 5-star resort. And I like spas. So it has an amazing spa. It's waterfront. We're in a beautiful suite. It's like all the things. Like I need to have a up-level vacation, right? That isn't just empowerment, right? But also has, an opportunity for me to show up in excellence, right? It allows me to show up in excellence. So I get to write more. I still have a book coming out in just a few months, right? And every time I talk to you all on this show, I'm bringing to you content that is exceptional. It's proven to work. I'm not even telling you what I know. Remember last week, we were talking about some of my favorite books, The Power of Habits, right? And we have women in this group that are doctors and lawyers and psychologists and all the things. And we're all on a journey to basically live powerfully. I mean, that's my language, but Debrina calls it holistic success. So it's about looking at our bodies and our lives in a way that says, no matter what is happening, we all have ways to level up, right? So if we're in Jamaica, which we are, and if you knew a 5-star but a 5 category 5 hurricane was barreling your way. And if you look online, it looks pretty horrible. I mean, the storm is bigger than the country, right? But we could not be in a better place. We couldn't possibly be in a place that was, I'm going to say, more secure. I had it planned already, so flights that were canceled and some people had no place to go. Fortunately, we did, right? Fortunately, this was already part of the plan. And so, once flights started to get canceled, we even got a hugely discounted rate to stay here even longer. I didn't know you guys knew that, but there's kind of a disaster recovery plan, and we're part of the disaster plan. Not that we expect a disaster, but we're here longer than we expected. So the rate's way cheaper. The food is incredible. There's nonstop entertainment and all kind of great things. But for me, it's also business, right? Like I came here for empowerment. I'm a coach, right? So I came here to create a space for me to level up and to be in a position to share with you all this amazing content. So right now it's dark, so I can't even really show you. But if you go to my Facebook, you can see I put some posts earlier today, it was just gorgeous. Yesterday, it was just gorgeous. And so I'm like, it's not here yet. It's not in Montego Bay. The palm trees on the beach were barely, moving in the wind. The day before yesterday, there were no birds, right? And that's, storm birds know, the nature knows, right, well before we do. So, but this morning when I went outside early this morning, it was actually, there were lots of birds. I was shocked. I was like, oh, they're back. So I say that to say, like, nature knows when hurricanes are coming. Similarly, your body knows when the storms of life are coming. Like, our bodies physically know. And we have an opportunity. Let's see what my producer is sharing. He's so good. What are you showing? Oh, you're showing some stuff from Facebook. He's so good. He is so good. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say right now. So he just literally pulled up my Facebook account. Do you want to share? Okay. So basically it's Traci Harrell, or Dr. Traci Harrell, on Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't think I've really posted anything except for this message, because I wanted to really be in a position to talk not only from facts. And last week we were able to, thank you for that, Daniel. You're so cute. My first notice to all of you was, and maybe Daniel, you could pull up at least one picture of the hurricane that shows the country of Jamaica and the huge Category 5 hurricane. Her name is Melissa, and Melissa's taking her dear sweet time. Just to roll back before I talk about the hurricanes or the storms of life, I'm going to talk about Melissa. So Melissa is the name of a Category 5 hurricane that is barreling toward Jamaica. And we just had an amazing dinner, at this, again, it's an all-inclusive resort. So all you can eat, all you can drink. So everything is just available, and, great entertainment. But we're also at a Hyatt, which used to be a Ritz-Carlton. So the protection is like there's a natural reef barrier, and then they moved everyone to the middle. Like there's like a U-shaped building. That's one building. So the sides are protecting us, and we're all in the flat part of the U, if that makes sense. And so we feel very protected. But there's a storm a-coming, right? There's a Category 5 storm that is actually here already. There's some rain already happening. There's some apparently some flooding and some mudslides that are already happening as well. We're getting, wow, there you go. Thank you, Daniel. So the storm is coming. It's coming, and it's moving pretty slow. So, every expectation, we plan to be out a certain day, and then they cancel flights again. Some of the ladies have had their flights canceled 3 times. So they cancel them, and then they rebook you, and then they cancel you, and they rebook you, and they cancel you, and you rebook you, because the storm is like, I'm coming when I want to come. As do storms of life, right? It's so unpredictable. So you can't really plan for the end outcome. All you can do is be prepared. So this facility, again, it's a 5-star resort. I had every expectation, and I didn't even know, of course, we did not know a storm was coming when we booked the resort. We did not know that. But if you're going to be in a, Category 5 hurricane in a country like Jamaica, which is pretty small, you want to be at a 5-star resort. So the GMs, which is the general manager of the hotel, the Hyatt, an international chain, obviously they have a preparedness plan, and they're working the plan. So similarly for you, again, I'm going to draw these parallels. We should have a plan. You should already know when you know, for example, there's a person that's the hurricane in your life that's coming to visit. Maybe it's a mother-in-law. Maybe it's a sibling. Maybe it's, you going into this meeting that always seems to turn out wrong, right? There's people who are like hurricanes, right? They're like they're the storm of our lives. People that don't treat you right, don't speak well of you, or don't, live in a positive way, and they seem to cause you negative energy every time you're around them, right? We already know those are storms. And the good news, the same way they are very prepared for this storm, they know what to do in advance, they know what to do during, they know what to do after. So you can prepare yourself for any storm, human or otherwise, right? By being thoughtful, having a plan, right? If it's a person, if it's a situation, right? It's probably not unique. You can be very planful. Okay, how does it make me feel? What are the things I can do differently going into this situation? Now, if I get cut off, I'm going to try one more thing. If I get cut off, Daniel, play some music. I'm just going to try because I pulled up a beautiful document for us, and it wasn't showing. Okay, I didn't get cut off this time. Okay, that's fine. I'll just keep talking. So again, I'm in the suite. There's a group of ladies outside in the other room of the suite. They're recapping this great week that we had. So we all came here to do the work, right? And like real work. So truly to transform. And so if you look at this Category 5 hurricane that's barreling toward Jamaica, and I know they've been talking about how catastrophic it's going to be. It's for a few reasons, right? It's not just a Category 5 hurricane. It's a Category 5 hurricane that's moving really slow, right? That means it's going to dump a lot of rain. It's going to probably cause, mudslides or landslides and all those things. So it's coming. It's coming. We know that it's coming. And so the good news is, again, depending on where you are, happen to be in a 5-star resort. 99% of the people in Jamaica are not staying at a 5-star resort, right? They're in their homes, right? They're prayed up. That I know. That I know, because again, I know people that are from here. I actually I was one of the speakers for a conference here last year, and I've been trying to reach people that I knew, that were part of that conference. It's the Mind Institute. So I've been trying to reach them. I can't reach them. And so I'm concerned, and we're all in the same country. It's not like I'm calling from the US. I'm saying, hey, I'm down the street. How are you guys doing? How prepared are you for this storm? And so, there's a level of anxiety that you now, as a person who's responding and not just reacting, you get to decide. Remember how we always say decisions determine your destiny. So you get to decide what level of anxiety you allow to show up in your life. So I'm slightly concerned, but I'm also faithful. So I'm joyful. I've been having a wonderful time, right? I've been connecting with the people here. Again, we got to spend more time together than we expected. So, and Sabrina's here, and she's a ray of sunshine. The other ladies who participated in this, again, they're all brilliant women. And so we all get to talk and connect and bond in such a beautiful way. So if I'm talking fast, it's because in my head, I want to draw some analogies, and I do have some documentation I wanted to share. But again, technology doesn't always work so well. It was just a few minutes ago, I wasn't even able to get in. So I'm trying to be very careful not to get into the system. Wi-Fi could go out at any moment. If that happens, just go to my Facebook and play those videos that I put in earlier. But we had a meeting with the GM twice a day at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. So we just had a update regarding the storm, regarding the Wi-Fi. And he said, look, this is what he said. So stay with me as I give you these 3 key points. We're good here. We have a physical barrier. Sorry about this. I'm balancing my laptop on a luggage. I know, pray for me. I guess I could put it over there, but he said we're in a good position, right? The storm is coming, but if you look out, we have a barrier reef. He said there's also the physical barrier of the building. So the way because there's a U shape, I mentioned that you had a right and a left side. They moved everyone off of the right and the left side of the U, right? And we're now all in the flat part, which is further away from the shore. We can still see the waters. We have a balcony off of the bedroom. There's a separate room out there, which has a balcony as well. So we can see the ocean, but there's 3 pools. There's like a swim up pool to the suites down below us. There's, some other beautiful pools, etc. So if there was a huge storm surge, what they are expecting, no one's sleeping, no one's on the first level, number one. He doesn't expect it to come all the way up here because of the physical barriers and the pools and all the other things that have been built. But if it did, they're prepared for that too, right? So it's like multiple layers of preparedness. Expect the worst, plan for the worst, expect everything to work out for your good. So that's how you can stay not like, I have no anxiety. I don't care. It doesn't even matter what happens. Because of their preparedness, I have zero anxiety. Because I'm from Florida and have lived through multiple hurricanes, I have zero anxiety, literally zero. But these are the other reasons why. So first he said there's a physical barrier here, like as the water's coming in, and I put videos, like I said, on Facebook, so you can check that out. He also said, again, the water barrier. Then there's the shape of the building and where we all are. Now wind can't even really get in here, right? Because it's a U, and we're being protected by the shape of the building. But then he also said the foundation. Let me just use that word. The foundation is strong. Like this used to be a Ritz-Carlton. He's like, we've done the engineering work. We've withstood multiple hurricanes in the past. So let me just go backwards. The foundation is strong in this building. So how's your foundation? So when we always talk about belief work, that's foundational. That's the work that really matters. So when you're changing, your mind about something and your thoughts change, it's less important to really focus on those things than it is to focus on your beliefs. What's the foundation? Like, where are these things coming from? Where are these negative thoughts coming from? Where's the anxiety coming from? When a storm is coming, you could be like, right, nail biting and feeling uncomfortable. Or you can say, hey, let me roll back to my foundation. First of all, I know, like and you talk about, and then you present yourself. Like you said, this building is strong. Like this is an affirmation. I know this. We've withstood, hurricanes in the past and with little to no damage. This is probably one of the strongest. So you want to be realistic about that too. But, having these checks and balances and doing the pre-work is what makes you say, hey, I've done everything I can do. Now I'm going to go. The storm is going to come and we're going to see what it's going to be. And we're going to make the best of it and keep it moving. So that's really all you can do. So this idea of being stressed out and worried about various elements of life, whether it's a hurricane or a meeting or a person or, the procrastination that you've put some things off that you probably should have taken care of many, many moons ago, which I know there's a couple of things I need to take care of as well that I've put off. And it's like, why? You have to ask yourself, why have I delayed this thing? Am I afraid of the outcome? Right? A lot of times we don't feel like we're enough, or we don't feel like we're prepared enough potentially, or maybe you've over prepared and you still didn't get the outcome that you wanted. That's soul wrenching, right? Maybe you're over prepared, like you over prepared for this thing, and then the humans that are involved didn't give you the response that you wanted. That's a storm, right? It becomes an internal storm, right? Because now you're asking yourself questions, you're questioning your own, outcomes and abilities. So again, you get to choose the self-thought, the self-talk, right? The beliefs. You get to decide, what am I going to believe about myself? And of course, I would always recommend that you believe the best, right? You believe you're going to have a great outcome. There may be some damage of trees outside. That's what I believe in this physical storm. But I also believe I'm going to be okay. Similarly, if there was a meeting that you have anxiety about, you could say there may be a situation that is less than optimal. This person may still be whoever they are. They may act the way they are. You can't change other people's behavior. But what you can do is you can change how you respond to the other person. That's the response versus a reaction. So if you're thoughtful, you can prepare for the storms of life. You can assume, okay, I know how this person typically shows up, and this is what I'm going to do. And there's such power in that. Like, it's so extraordinarily rewarding when someone has had this level of control over you or your emotions because of how they act and how you react to how they act, right? And then when you don't react, it's like, oh my God, I could have been doing this. like I really do have control. I have way more control than I thought. I can't control whether I can't control the other person. I can't control the wind blowing. I can't control the surge. I can't control how much rain falls. I can't control how slow or fast Melissa's moving. I can't control any of that. But what I can control is where I'm at. I could have chosen a different place, a different hotel that had less preparedness. All right. I was willing to pay the price to be in a 5-star resort. So that was preparedness, right? I'd already decided I was going to stay a few extra days even before we even knew there was a hurricane. So again, preparedness. And so we were blessed. All of us were blessed because of this whole situation. And so the question to you is, how are you going to prepare for the next storm? Right. You could also say, I've been trying to lose weight, and one of the ladies here, she's going to a wedding on Sunday, and she's, we're all in an all-inclusive resort, so I'm sure there's been a lot more munching and crunching. I don't really like to drink, but I will drink like a fruity, frozen, beverage. So if someone likes to drink, you're like, okay, I'm here, and there are people who are like having the time of their lives. Clearly, there's dancers, there's entertainment, there's all kind of really cool things available. But we're not those people. That's not what I require to entertain myself. Now, I did get a little spa time in. I do require that. I do a lot of work for people. Like, I go overboard and extra for people. And sometimes, you have hopes that they're going to do their part, or that they want to truly up level. And, the truth is, it doesn't even matter if they do or not, because I show up in excellence, and I know that's my guarantee for me. Does that make sense? Are you with me? So it doesn't matter how other people show up. If you show up in excellence, that is you also managing the storms of life in a way where you get to thrive. You also get to visualize what would be the perfect outcome for me. Like, what would be the thing that would make this perfect? So you get to visualize, and you get to actually manifest the outcomes that you want. Does that make sense? So you actually get to manifest the outcomes that you want. And if you knew that you could manifest the outcomes at all times, oops, I'm 1 minute over. Sorry. Let me just see, private chat, break time. Okay. Sorry. My producer is so cool. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And we're talking about literal hurricanes. And we're talking about what you could do to thrive during the storms of life. So stay with us. We'll be right back on Rainier Avenue Radio. Thanks.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.
This is a Rainier Avenue Radio message on fentanyl awareness in our communities.
But this is a very parent issue, and I don't really have a lot of information as a teacher to tell my student if they come to me with questions. And I feel it's my responsibility to be more aware if they do come to me with questions. So it seems like it's not an immediate concern for public schools in South King County to make that information readily available for families or even employees.
This has been a Rainier Avenue Radio message on fentanyl in our communities.
Greetings. This is your host, DJ Neftali, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, the best DJ in the Seattle area. You can catch me every Monday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. Like I said, this is DJ Neftali, the best reggae in Seattle, Washington, the best radio station, Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Come on, right?
My name is BK, International Talent Scout. I'm bringing a brand new show to you called BK Presents. 10 minutes, non-stop, your favorite in gospel music studio session. Going deep into interviews with your favorite artists, producers, and their engineers. You and your concert previews and concert reviews. Get it all on bkpresent.com.
A teacher who hurt their back and got prescribed opioids. A daughter trying to cope with a loss in the family. A friend silently struggling, thinking they'll be a burden if they ask for help. People with addiction come from all walks of life. And the truth is, they stand a better chance at recovery with our support. Reaching out and sharing local resources can make all the difference. Don't count them out. More people recover with support. Find more ways to help at supportaddictionrecovery.com. That's supportaddictionrecovery.com.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media. Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Hey, y'all. We are back. We are halfway through a show that is entitled Surviving and Thriving During the Storms of Life. And I'm broadcasting literally live from Jamaica, live from the destination of a Category 5 hurricane. Miss Melissa is barreling this way. And so what I'm excited about is that it doesn't matter. We're praying. We're all prayed up. That's the other preparation, right? We're all prayed up, right? We are praying for others in the country. There will be devastation. There may be lives lost. We're praying that there will be less lives, no lives lost, and less damage from the hurricane. Like you can pray, we can, feel like there's an opportunity for us to contribute to the greater good through prayer. That's one of my secret, weapons going into a situation. Like I'm prayed up and I'm like, God's, the creator of the universe. So he can do all things. Do bad things still happen? Absolutely. They do. But I feel like I've done my part, right? I'm staying at a place that I'm going to be relatively safe. The people that I'm traveling with are going to be, all here. Half of them are here with us. So I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful for that. So the preparation that goes into surviving and thriving the storms of life is really an important part of this journey. I am having a few little technical issues, but it's okay. I'm going to see what happens here. I'm going to try this one more time. See what happens. Okay. So my little document is not coming up. But since you can see me, I'm going to consider that a win. Remember, I'm live from a hurricane, so I'm going to just keep moving. So you guys remember what we talked about the last time I was here? We talked about some of my favorite books. We talked about one of them was called The Power of Habit. And so another tool that you can use, I'm going back to some of my favorites because they are going to be highlighted in this next book that I'm writing. It's really about choosing those and building those foundational habits that say, I don't know what's going to happen today. I don't know if this is going to be a stormy day. I don't know if, I'm going to create a space where I am in my best frame of mind. So I'm going to be rested. I'm going to be connected, right? Connected with whatever, spiritual, scientific, or themes that are important to you, right? Connecting to other things are important. My company is called It's All Bigger Than Me. So anything that's bigger than you, you may be like, well, my family's bigger than me. That's like the most important thing. I'm an agnostic. I don't believe in spiritual things and, whatever. Or you may be someone who's studied all these scientific elements and you're like, I believe in science. Well, the science around neuroscience says, and cognitive behavioral psychology and performance science said, you're going to show up your best if you've planned if you've planned for the outcome that you desire, if you visualize the outcome that you desire, that's how you survive and thrive during the storms of life. You assume the best outcomes. You plan for the best outcomes. You can visualize the best outcomes, right? You're investing your energy into the spaces that will create the outcomes that you desire. Does that make sense? You're investing your energy, and the science behind it, the neuroscience behind that says if you believe something negative is going to happen, then you're going to be looking for the negative, and you will see that, period, end of story. But the reverse is true. If you believe that something great is going to happen from this, even the fact that the storm is coming, that's why I'm not stopping it from coming. What I'm saying is, it is my hope and prayer that human lives are not lost, right? That the rain is going to come. They would have made some preparations so that, it would be, rain that nourishes the green, and Jamaica is very green and lush, right? That the ground absorbs this excess moisture, and there is no flooding. The rivers were actually relatively low. We did a beautiful river rafting thing. They weren't too low, but they were relatively low. They talked about some river that we went rafting on 2 days ago, and there was this beautiful bridge over it. And they said, I guess it looked like feet, like I don't know. I'm not really great with that type of visual representation, but I would say easily, 40 feet. It's 40 feet, right? High, a distance at least, from the river that we were on to the top of the bridge. And they said, oh, we had a storm where the river flooded over the bridge. And then what they did, preparedness, what they did is that they drilled these big holes, car-sized holes through the bridge. And this bridge was built like they described it as built like the pyramids. It was built in the 1800s, but it was built like the pyramids, if that makes sense, right? So using these principles, that this bridge has lasted now for hundreds of years, and it's still there. We have bridges in the U.S. that decades pass, and they're not stable, and we're talking hundreds, thousands, like a lot of time. And they've made modifications, again, back to preparedness. They've had a situation where water rose over and it caused all these issues. Now they have it so that water can run through parts of the bridge, and it makes the whole process flow even better. That's preparedness, right? So we can do that too for the storms in our life. We already know that A, B, and C is going to happen. Maybe it's a dinner where you normally have your father-in-law or mother-in-law or something, and maybe it's not a great relationship. You can invite someone who they like, maybe the sister, right? And so now you got a buffer. So how do you make that situation better in advance? You can plan for, and if you remember some of the things we talked about with PQ, innovate. You can be creative. You can just throw out ideas. What are 10 things I can do to make this situation better? What are 5 things I can do to shift the energy for the people that are involved? If energy, positive energy is a thing that you want to focus on, and you're like, this storm is going to really give me a headache if I don't do A, B, or C, right? So you can start to innovate, meaning get creative, explore your options, get creative, plan for a different outcome, right? And again, it may not work out, but you've now planned for a different outcome. You visualized it. You're manifesting it. You're doing specific things. You're taking action. So you're writing this out, and you're taking action that will lead to a different outcome. Does that make sense? So a lot of times people want to talk about affirmations, and they want to talk about the things that they're going to say, and but they're not taking a different action. They're not doing something different. So what I'm saying is, this is how you avoid the storms of life. How you thrive during the storms of life is you prepare for them. You have a plan. You are strategizing. You're innovating. You're being creative. I could think of 10 examples, but I think you already know. Thank you very much for the comments in the chat, right? But you already know, right, what is going to happen, because situations like this have happened before, and that's why you have some anxiety about it. So again, your body knows, like we were talking about, the birds know when a storm is coming. They already know. Your body knows too, right? There's a physical anxiety. Sometimes there's a tightness, right, that you might be avoiding. And so you get to decide, how am I going to show up differently? What am I going to do differently to create a different outcome? Right? You're not going to, you know, what do they say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. You're like, what can I do differently? You're flipping the script. What can I do differently for that situation? Right? And you're planning for it. You're writing it down. You're connecting with people. You're creating a space. So I had something written out. Oh, here it is. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Thank you. I'm sorry, it just finally came up. Okay. So I'm going to talk really fast, but I want to get through this for you all. Okay. So we said the theme for today with the Living Powerfully experience is thriving through the storms of life. And I want this to be, you know, reflective, right? And so meaning this is you reflecting on what I'm saying for your situations, right? Hopefully it's somewhat inspiring, but I am broadcasting live from Jamaica, and I'm literally in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane. So the topic, you know, evolved based on the situation that I'm involved in. I had a whole nother topic for today, but I thought kind of makes sense, right? It's a real-time metaphor for the emotional, the spiritual, and the mental storms that people face. So as you think about reflections and foundations, this concept of facing the storm, there's this concept of the calm before the storm. That's what we've been like kind of video on my Facebook. When I say go to my Facebook, you can see some videos and things. I've been kind of showing the calm before the storm, right? Like this idea of better together and living powerfully, you know, being able to come to you live from Jamaica. I feel blessed. I feel honored to be here. I came here for empowerment. I came here because investing in myself is very important to me as well. But I'm literally in the middle of a real Category 5 hurricane. So as I sit here, I can actually hear the wind howling outside. The ocean is roaring. But here's the truth. Storms don't just happen around us. They happen within us, right? So the ones within us are the ones we're going to talk about, right? The beauty is this chaos, the spiritual reminder that everything external mirrors something internal. So when you start to feel that tightness, right, there's something you can do internally. So this is not a message about fear. This is a message of faith in motion. It's action in motion. It's like, how do I get to do something different to create a different outcome? It's the skills and the habits. It's really the mindset shift that allows you not only to survive, but to thrive through any storm. So let's talk about this. There's 3 types of storms. I love it. There's external storms, these natural disasters. There's crisis, there's losses, right? There's also emotional storms, right? There's the heartbreak, there's betrayal, there's fear, right? And there's grief. There's also purpose storms, when life kind of uproots everything you thought you wanted, right? You know, sometimes God will blow through your plans like a hurricane, just to remind you, you were building on sand, not on stone anyway. I have a friend I was trying to help with the business thing, and I'm like, you're building on sand. She didn't want to hear it. And I'm like, oh my God, I really hope I can still help you in some way. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't always work that way. So you have to ask yourself, what storm are you in right now? Or what is life trying to tell you about the next storm? How are you preparing for the next storm, right? There's this concept of anchoring. They've anchored all this, the lawn chairs or whatever out in the pool. Things have been anchored down. So if you think about a shelter, for me in this case, faith is my shelter, right? It says, this is a scripture. I don't normally read scriptures, but I found one that I really liked. It was Matthew 7:25. It says, the rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew, but the house built on rock stood firm. right? So the one thing I'm asking each of you to do is skill number one to manage any storm is to ground yourself in gratitude. Even in the middle of chaos, find something that you can be grateful for, because gratitude centers you. I'm just grateful I'm in a 5-star restaurant. I'm grateful that the guy said that he has a generator, right? I'm grateful that we got unlimited food and drink. I'm grateful that they got 250 people here for the 250, for the 300 or so guests. That people are taking care of our needs. I'm grateful for that, right? I'm grateful that I know people here that are telling me that they're prepared. So what are 3 things that you can be thankful for in the middle of your storm? Right? That's important. So that's skill number 1 is ground yourself in gratitude. Skill number 2 is choose your focus. Like, the storm is not your enemy, right? It's a mirror. So guide the audience. So if you had to think about like how you and I can show up, people are watching you, right? So the audience, the people that are watching you every day, whether it's your children, the people that work with you, your friends, family, etc., they're watching you. So you want to guide them to a peaceful outcome, right? You want to be the source of peace within the storm. So it doesn't matter what's happening around you. If you're at peace, you can create that same peace in others. So you want to find peace in the center of the storm. So this concept of, even in a hurricane, there's the eye of the storm, which is a perfectly calm space. So you want to create your inner eye of the storm. So what does peace look like for you when everything is falling apart? Again, you gotta ask yourself these questions in advance so you're prepared. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna do this, right? Like, I am the calm within the chaos. That's an affirmation. We want to say that together. I am the calm within the chaos. It doesn't matter, right? You want to pause, you want to breathe, and you want to visualize that center. You're the center. You're the calm. So if you think about the power and the purpose are the 2 pieces that I really want us to focus on, thriving beyond the storm. So going into the storm, you're preparing, right? Now, if there are going to be winds that are going to be blowing, so the lessons from the wind is this: release and renewal. So when you think about storms, right? Storms force you to let go of a lot of things. Control, because you can't control any of it. Pride, right? Storms may also make you let go of people who just aren't aligned with the work that you want to do, the life that you want to lead, right? There's chaos. We've all witnessed this, but there's also clarity that comes from these storms. If you allow them to teach you, if you allow the storms to be a teaching moment, and you already know, and you're open to the truth, because it's there for you, and you surround yourself with people around you who you're willing to let them tell you the truth. That's the other thing, Lord. Sorry. You got to be around people who you allow to tell you the truth. And this is so good. So this concept of skill number 4 is to surrender and simplify, right? So skill number 1 was ground yourself in gratitude. Skill number 2 was choose your focus, right? Skill number 3 was create your inner eye. What does peace look like to you? Skill number 4 is lessons from the wind. Renew, release, and renew, right? It's the concept of surrendering and simplify. Sometimes driving isn't about doing more. Sometimes it's about becoming less attached. So I got a few minutes left, so I want to use these 3 R's, right? The 3 R's of renewal. Release what no longer serves you. Reflect on what the storm has revealed to you. And rebuild with wisdom and grace. Now, the storms of life are going to come. That's all I'm trying to say. We already said you can prepare for them. There's some things you can do to get yourself ready. But they're going to come. And it could be some disaster happening. Then you want to think about this renewal. Release what no longer serves you. Reflect on what the storm has revealed to you. Be honest and surround yourself with people that will help you see the truth. I'm going to have a whole nother show about the truth and how people have helped me to see things that I didn't even know. And then you want to rebuild with grace. Now stay with me here as I move through this. I only have a few minutes left. So we want to build legacy through the storm. This concept of living powerfully. Our philosophy includes 3 words: legacy, leadership, and love. We lead with love, but it's about legacy, and we have to show up as leaders. So legacy, leadership, and love. Legacy is not built on the easy days. It's built on those resilient ones. It's built when you had to be resilient. So again, storms are part of the journey. They're part of what it means to live powerfully. And you want to activate purpose in your pain. So when the storm happens, you want to ask yourself, what might this storm be preparing me for? Because of this storm, I can now do this thing that I couldn't do before. And the storm could be a person. Maybe they broke your heart and you're like, oh, help me, Jesus, right? But what am I now prepared for? What resilience can you now explain and explore that you couldn't have had this situation not happened, right? Think about, I could go on and on. I had a whole lot of stuff, but I'm gonna go to some power practices for the storm. So this is a little toolkit. So the mantra for these trees out here, for example, bamboo or palm trees, the reason they blow the way they do, they bend, but they don't break. That's you too. You can say that to yourself. I can bend, but I don't break, right? You also want to breathe during a storm. Oftentimes we kind of get tight, we hold our breath, and you want to breathe and you want to practice that before the storm. So when we talked about these PQ reps and things you can do in advance, it's like a 4 count. Inhale, hold for 4, and then exhale even slower, like for a 6 count. So a 4 count inhale, a 4 count hold, and like a 6 count exhale. You guys will do 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 4. It's all what you do. What feels right to you. That's just one proposal, but you got to practice the breath. And then you also want to think about, this is a reflective prompt. And I'm going to talk about roots, because we discovered that my root chakra, right, needs some work. So you want to ask yourself, where do I need to plant my roots deeper? What work do I need to do to ground myself deeper? There may be a song that you like or some frequencies, right, that feel healing to you. So you also want to spend some quality time in meditation, right? Whether it's prayer meditation or just sitting in silence. Another one of my favorite books that I didn't mention previously is called Deepak Chopra's The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. And he talks about the power of silence. But the first law, talks about the power of possibility. Like anything's possible. So showing up and believing that anything is possible and that the universe is working for your good, there's some beauty in that. Knowing that the universe is conspiring for your good. So when a storm is coming, it's going to work out for my good. Whatever happens, it's going to be for my good, right? So you want to turn this survival into service. Every storm that you've overcome becomes someone else's shelter when you share your story. Let me just say that one more time. Rising after the rain, after the storm, there's these 2 words that begin with a T. There's the testimony and the transformation. If you allow yourself to transform, there's something beautiful in that. But if you allow yourself to tell the testimony, that's even more beautiful, because you're not only transforming for yourself, it's an isolated incident, but that testimony, right? That's why I show up here every week, because I'm like, I got a testimony. I got too many good things in me that I need to be sharing with the universe, and this is my way of doing it. And I'm writing this in a book, so I force myself every week to organize my thoughts and come to you with something pretty powerful, right? And when you package this all together, it's going to be really great. But again, the 2 T's, testimony and transformation after the storm, right? This is how you rise after the storm. It's testimony and transformation. So I'm going to close because I see that I'm running out of time. So living powerfully through the storm, right? This is a little bit of a prayer and affirmation sequence, because again, there literally is a 5 category 5 hurricane roaring outside. And we're here in Jamaica, and the storm is bigger than the country. There's a lot happening. So I'm going to do a little bit of prayer. I just want to thank you, Lord, as a reminder that storms do not define us. They refine us. These storms of life, we welcome them. They can refine us, right? They don't define us. I'm grounded. This is another layer of affirmation, a layer of prayer. I am grounded. I'm grateful, and I'm growing through the wind, right? And if you want to end with a little bit of laughter, a little bit of love, and a little bit of hope, if you're hearing this and my Wi-Fi is still holding up, that means there's purpose, right? That means purpose still has work to do through you. If you're still able to hear me, praise God. I wasn't able to get it just a few minutes ago, right? But the call to action is to really join us next week. I should be back home and safe, right? But this idea of having a daily reflection. And remember, this storm is where you can truly be your best. You're going to build legacy through the storm. Remember that you're going to find purpose and power as you thrive beyond the storm. Those 3 R's. Remember the 3 R's of renewal. Release what no longer serves you. Reflect on what the storm revealed to you. And that requires you to be honest. And then rebuild with wisdom and grace. Rebuild with wisdom and grace. I could go on and on and on. On and on and on and on. But it looks like my time is up. I had a lot to share today, and I really wanted to get all of this in. What I packaged at the end was kind of the prepared notes regarding what you can do, those steps that you can take to truly thrive during this storm. It is my hope and prayer that each of you will not only welcome the storms in your life, but take a moment to prepare for them, right? Know that they are there for you. They're not to harm you. You can prepare for them and you can thrive for them. And we have a few announcements, I believe. I think we have some announcements. If not, what I can tell you is next, we have one of my favorite shows. And Dana, you got to hook me up. I'm talking to our producer. You got to hook me up with the Lidline Sports guys. They're my fave. They're my favorite. So Lidline Sports is next, y'all. It's the fastest hour in sports, hosted by Pepe Otis and Michael Carter. So live right here next, you are going to hear from Lidline Sports. And guys, I still want to connect with you. I told you I'm going to offer you my AI stuff. So this is also we're kicking off some more Living Powerfully with AI, but there's some things I had to finish the book and then I'm going into some new topics, but I'm here for you. I'd love to support you all with some Living Powerfully with AI as well. So smooches, I love you all. Super excited to be here. Always excited to share. And again, remember, the storms are life. This is your training ground. This is how you thrive and get to the next level. So I invite you back next week to join us right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, this is your journey and you have control over your next steps. Remember, your decisions determine your destiny, y'all. We got this. Thanks. See you soon.